Okay, I think.
Back to warm your hands, eh? What can I do for you? You all right? I won't serve you if you're already top quality bear.
Gores.
Alright, okay. Huh.
Right here. Effigy's eyes, that man loved to talk. If it's sane and logical reasoning you're wanting, you're gonna be disappointed. Ain't no sense in any of it. Mayhap you've heard of Coldmore. Was a quiet, forgettable patch of the woods.
That was the start of the purges. Dear Woodens killing their own.
A farmer on the other side of the mountains woke up one day with his head all aflame and took it for the gibbering speech of his god. And so did a few thousand of his countrymen. So when he tired of Vorlus fields and marched west, a horde of armed Hicks followed. Saint Widwin and his blazing crusade celebrated his coup in Raid Saris by invading. Most of his forces headed north to Halgat Citadel, but a lucky few thousand ventured through the mountains. Through Cold Morn.
You were from Cold Morn? I heard what happened out there.
Fine line between couldn't and wouldn't. They had us clean beaten numbers. Even bumpkins like us. Just look at Mercy Vale. They fought back. And now there ain't one stone standing atop another. And besides, we asked the Duke for help. Told him Widewind's troops was coming through the mountains. Seems he had better uses for. So we let Widewind's soldiers pass. Left him for the Duke to wrangle on his own terms. Was after the Godhammer made a fine grit out of Widewind, when Deerwoodens were running on rage and looking for something to burn. They came at dark. Hundreds of folk. Every one of them mourning someone lost in the war. Must have decided it was our duty to escort their dead back to the... They didn't light their torches till they had us surrounded. Time we saw them, there was a ring of fire closing around it. I woke. Ran to the window. Whole village were a maze of flames. Couldn't see nothing for the smoke. And most ran for the streets. Got caught by the mob. Others hid, let their houses burn down around them. You're the only person in the Deerwood who thinks so. Me, I'm surprised the Duke didn't make our massacre a festival day. Hunting down the men and women what took part. Thought that much was clear. Sure. You want me to tell you straight? I found the men and women what destroyed my village, and I burned their... Sometimes they was alone, and sometimes they wasn't. It were a mob that destroyed our village, but it was just one man that burned my... Kept hoping I'd get to him as I was working my way through the rest of those maggots. No matter now, I suppose. Only kind to have with someone like him. Or me. No other way to feel about the man who flayed my living soul. Around about 13 years. Too long, you ask me. He'd spread butter on bread and claim he made something. He managed to stuff my soul into this heap of bronze, true enough. Maybe that makes him a genius. Also makes him a son of a bitch. Every day. Just kept putting it off. It's not like either of us was going anywhere. Looked after his tools, cleaned the workshop, swung the sledgehammer. Oh, and snatched up travelers for his soul tinkering. All those other golems, where did you think? But don't you worry. They were all bad folk. Just so you know, you got a real professional working for you. Yeah, I've had enough of him too. Stalwart's great this time of year. Beareth spells in bloom for a good 5 days, and the mountain squall actually blows the fish stench away from town. Better than staying at Galvino's anyway. I got a reputation. People in these little villages ain't the most open-minded. Not yet. Believe what you want. I killed a lot of folk, but none of them was in Stalwart. Plenty. But nothing you need to know. Just because I made of metal don't mean I got any special fondness for smiths and no more than what Galvino already told you. For fancy dwarven poetry? None of them ever struck me. And that's on you. I lost... nothing specific. Everyone looks about the same when they got their fingers up their noses. Only the last group, one before you. I couldn't put my finger on it, but they was dangerous. Almost felt the hair on... Ain't felt that way about anyone else walking through Galvino's door, that's for... Murder, tracking, and the best materials. There weren't much to say about it. By my reckoning, that means it was pretty good. Ma was a trapper. Taught me to set snares and dress. Dad was a tinker. I never had his patience, but it were fun to watch him work. My brothers and sister, they was good folk too. Part of me's glad they ain't here to see me now.
Absolutely.
Right here.
At once.
Didn't think I'd miss this place. Had that much right. Village was a touch livelier when I saw it last. Ain't so bitter cold and a persistent odor of fish. Anything's better than Galvino's workshop. Anyway, what about you? We seen lots coming through, trying to crack the battery, but no watchers. The do-gooder of the Deerwood. But don't let me keep you from the sights and sounds of Stalwart. Right here.
I'd be glad to.
Hey there. Let me know if you need anything. Not so brave now, are you?
I wouldn't call it a secret. It's more like a mysterious thing he doesn't like to talk about.
What? Did I spill something on myself?
Didn't think there was anything more than lice and hoarfrost to these folk, but you had a... What do you find when you're rooting around like that? Yeah? And I'll bet you could do the same to anyone in this village. Easy as looking at him. Mayhap I'm looking for someone. Woodcutter by the name of Harmka. It sure does. He was one of them. I tracked him to Stalwart years ago, but got caught before I could finish my business. This man, Harmka. I saw him outside my house the night it burned, staring into the flames. I knew it were a fool's errand trying to hunt down every man and woman that carried a torch into cold. If I knew I got the one responsible for my kin and my hearth, I might could rest easy. I took a good long look that night. Ours was a little place with a yellow door right on the edge of town. Sides. I asked around when I first got to Stalwart. Townsfolk said that all the woodcutters in town took part in the purge. Point of pride for them. I told you he was part of the mob, but when we find him, I want to know if he's the one responsible for my home. I never thought I'd have the chance to know for sure, but you could look... Mighty fine of you. Mighty fine, and don't know where he dallies these days, but someone in Stalwart could tell us. People from little villages, they...
Hey there. Let me know if you need an Armka. Saw him head out some time ago.
Well,
We're not really going to do this.
Is there anything else? Take care.
Of course, I already knew he was there. Because I have the power of the internet. Unlike these savages in the fantasy world, whatever.
How goes?
Caroc Shadow. What's that wicked thing doing here? It's a killer! Look, we'd be much obliged if you'd leave us be. And take that... What did you say?
Certainly.
Almost 15 years I've been looking for him. All that fretting and wondering, and the deed's over in less time than it takes to tell. I killed a lot of folk in my time. Felt their blood slick in my hands, smelled their flesh as it burned. And I always used to imagine what it would be like to have Harmka under my knife, feeling his breath come hot and fast. Couldn't feel a thing. His fading pulse weren't no more than a powder of rain to me. This body, it weren't made for feeling. Gouging my fingers into Harmka's waist, all it did was remind me that this is a madman's fever dream. Like a prison, but no, 'cause in a prison, you lay your head down and you feel the straw soft beneath you. Your flesh prickling in the cold, black bread crumbling on your tongue. I'd trade 'em all if I could feel the snow cold, or I still dream I'm folk. I wake up some mornings wondering why I can't feel the floor beneath me, thinking I must have fallen, but then I lift my head, see a bronze corpse stretching out in front of me. I dream too of what Galvino did that night. Those moments. I'd endure another cold morn if it'd spare me this fate. It was after I got caught in Stalwart. They'd locked me in a little house by the inn, the old mayor and his crone. When a crowd of them came for me in the dark of night, I was only surprised it had taken them so long. Only they didn't march me to no gallows. No, they snuck me to another house on the edge of town, real sneaky-like. That's where I met Galvino. He was fiddling with some machinery in his workshop. Had his sleeve, never actually looked at me until he started fitting some copper helmet over my... By that time, the mayor's goons had me trussed up good and tight. Galvino was having himself a grand time barking orders at that lot. So while Galvino's fastening that helmet over my head and them copper bands around my arms, I'm starting to look at his contraption. It's this metal suit strapped into the machine just like me. A cold, dead-eyed thing, all done up with fancy carvings and such. You think I didn't? I start asking Galvino and the rest of them what's going on. Then suddenly, they're waiting, staring at me with that fixed, horrified look. But they ain't watching me. Galvino tells the woman nearest the machine, and then, just pain. By the time I came to, I couldn't feel a thing. I think that was when I knew. I reckon I'm the wrong person for that sort of question. But if it cools your conscience, Galvino didn't get off easy. The rest of Stalwart didn't take kindly to having a killer in their midst, nor to seeing their mayor and the army Valians. They drove Galvino out, destroyed a fortune in machinery, and wrote a letter to the academy in Salona. Still, he's lucky he didn't get up. The old mayor fled too, and Stalwart's been as snug and cheery as ever. You're better company than Galvino. Been a while since I were out in the world. Guess I'm keen on seeing more of it. Anyways, I've been wondering about that fortress. Near everyone thinks it'll have just the thing they need. Those villagers wanted to fix up their... Galvino always thought it carried some great secret of Animanson. And all them adventurers came looking for fancy gear. I don't know. Something to help me feel. Or forget. Effigy's eyes, maybe just something new. I just figured, with those dwarves being expert smiths and all, maybe they had something to unmake me. Put me back into my body. I know, it were just a passing fancy.
And there you go.